The upscaling wars rage on, and AMD now has a new weapon in its own arsenal for assisting in the ever pursuit of increased frame rates. So today I'm going to take a brief look at the latest from Team Red, Radeon Super Resolution, and you're going to find out what it is and what it is not, how to enable it if you've got the hardware to support it, how it performs, and an idea of how games look while using it. Want to know more? Well, let's get into it. Radeon Super Resolution, or RSR, is the latest from AMD in its arsenal of upscaling technologies. But Keith, what about Fidelity FX Super Resolution, or FSR? Well, that's still very much a thing, and if it's available, use it over RSR, as FSR will be the better of the two options. If you're not up to speed on FSR, hit the card in the upper right-hand corner to learn more about it and other upscaling technologies. Okay, back to focusing on RSR and what it is. Honestly, the long and short is it's a driver-level implementation of the spatial upscaler technology used in FSR that doesn't require specific game integration. This means it works across many titles, though it does require exclusive full-screen support to work. So that will be the catch. Oh, it also requires a Radeon RX 5000 series or current RX 6000 series graphics card. And the upside is that you get access to a great spatial upscaler that allows you to run sub-native render resolutions that would, in theory, allow your game to operate at a higher frame rate and improve performance. But at what cost? Because there's always a catch, right? Well, FSR operates at a game level, and that allows the game to retain a lot of the features at native resolution, like the HUD and post-processing effects. But RSR simply relies on the actual resolution for everything and then upscales it back to the native target of the screen. So the HUD elements and post-processing effects are subject to reduced fidelity. Well, that's enough of that. Now, just how do you enable it? Well, you're going to need the latest AMD Software Adrenalin Edition. That's right, it's no longer Radeon Software Adrenalin Edition, as AMD has incorporated so many features for the CPU into the mix that it's now all-encompassing. Anyway, simply open up the software by right-clicking on the desktop, navigate to the Global Graphics tab, click Enable on the Radeon Super Resolution tab. That's it. And the first time you do this, AMD has graciously added a short tutorial on how to use it. And it's so incredibly easy that you might not think that it's right. Seriously, you just enable RSR, make sure that your game is in exclusive full screen mode, reduce the resolution, and it works on its own. That's it. That's the whole process. Now, to ensure that it's actually working, just use the Alt+R command while you're in game to bring up the AMD overlay and look for the green check on Radeon Super Resolution, and you know you're in business. Now I want to take an extremely quick look at the frame rate performance. To do so, I threw the Radeon RX 6700 XT on my MSI X570 Unify motherboard with 32 gigs of DDR4 3600 and a Ryzen 5 3600X. Now performance should be obvious here, as there's a steady uplift in performance as the render resolution drops. Remember, RSR is only upscaling, so the native 4K results are the base, and what kind of performance increase you get as you lower the resolution is normal. All of these results render at full 4K upscaled resolution on your screen, just to be clear. So essentially, you're looking at performance scaling related to resolutions for the RX 6700 XT. Cyberpunk 2077 on the high preset without ray tracing shows dropping from 4K to 1440p is what's needed to get across that 60 FPS barrier. And the same can be said for the Shadow of Tomb Raider, with 1440p just topping that 60 FPS mark. Admittedly, this time is with the settings maxed out, including ray tracing on Ultra. The last game that I looked at, performance-wise, is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It only needed to go down to 1800p in order to break the 60 FPS wall, and that's with very high settings too. So if you're hoping to get 60 FPS, then there's no need to go any lower. Okay, Keith, I get it. Lower resolution results in higher frames. Duh. But how does it look? For an image comparison in motion, because remember folks, we play games in motion. I recorded the benchmark run from Cyberpunk 2077, and with a 4K target running at 1440p with RSR on, it looked pretty dang good compared to native. I even played the game for a while, and it didn't take long for me to forget that I had even tampered with the resolution. And edges were pretty sharp. Admittedly, if I zoomed into specific scenes, I could tell, but that's pixel peeping, and it's all fine and good, but that's not the point of RSR. So at the end of the day, Radeon Super Resolution is the end-all be-all, right? Nah, not quite. FSR is still a much better option with the game integration it has, but it's not in all games or nearly as many games that RSR can support. So if a game already has FSR, don't bother with RSR, as the in-game option will be better. And you're going to need a more modern Radeon graphics card to run it, so RX 5000 series or newer. Sorry, Polaris and Vega holdouts. But FSR is still holding itself down, but having RSR as an option when the game doesn't have anything else is a very nice thing to have. It's a good tool in Radeon's bag of tricks. Well, if you're planning on using it, or after the new driver goes live are using it, then let me know if this is something that excites you, or are you even interested in anything other than native resolution. While you're down there in the comments section, make sure you hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed here at PC World for even more PC hardware and software goodness.